Oh, you're taking a picture in front of the. Taking a picture in front of that. The decal. There they go. Come on in. Hey, Edgar. Good morning. How are you?
We are wonderful.
Good. You get one here.
Okay, I'm going to sit away from this
Yeah. I'm Sean Beverly.
I'm Carol McGrew.
Nice to meet you.
I am Tracy Brown.
And you're the artist, huh?
Hello.
All right, Sean. So you doing me in here with them? Or yeah, that's cool. Okay.
You know what? Let me powder my nose before we start. Because my little body show will be like, ma'am.
So y'all from California?
Yeah.
Okay.
California.
This your first time in Milwaukee?
First time.
Really?
We are loving it.
Really?
I think it's wonderful and beautiful. I'm
Really?
looking for a city about this size.
Really? You ready to get out of California?
Yes.
Really?
Get out of California.
Wow. What? Lifelong resident?
I actually was born in New York and raised in California, LA, and in San Francisco for many years.
Wow.
So I consider myself San Franciscan. But
you done had it from both coasts.
yes.
Wow. That's amazing.
And I've lived out of the country.
Really?
I was still in France.
International.
International. Married to a West African man, been all over Africa.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah,
What a blessing.
I'm ready to,
Something simple, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, find a nice little quiet place.
Yes, a nice little
relax
get out of the fray. Because there's a lot of fray going on.
Yeah. Now, y'all in San Francisco, you said?
Yes, so my office is in San Francisco, but we both of us live in the East Bay. So
Okay.
Oakland
Yeah, Oakland area. Yeah. He got family in Oakland.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All in the Bay Area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're saying
Yeah, Palmdale, LA.
You think this is Queens?
Oh God, yes.
Really?
You got to come our way. This is you can eat off the side.
Wow.
It's
Well, our city was a lot better. I was just on the air talking about this repair. It's been in neglect for the last 2 years. I just got back from Phoenix. My son had his first child, and my wife and I were out there seeing our grandbaby for the first time. Yeah, and I was looking at conditions out there, and I'm like, man, so a lot of homeless people out there.
yeah, we have so many homeless people. It's just unreal.
That's what we talking about, but we still won't close the borders.
Yeah.
Still bringing them in by the millions.
Yeah.
Edgar, how you been, man?
I'm good, man.
Yeah,
Good,
keeping
yeah.
busy.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Always.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, keeping busy.
Well, y'all on the clock now, y'all. Got to get everything done for No Menthol Sunday, right?
Yeah, No Menthol Sunday, that's in the 19th, and then tomorrow is the opening for the Same Game, Different Smokers exhibition.
Also, yeah, that's down in the Western Park Library.
Yeah, well, tomorrow, the opening is going to be at America's Black Holocaust Museum.
Oh,
that's just the
awesome.
reception,
Okay.
and then the exhibition
I'll
is
be
going to be
there.
at the library.
Yeah.
So right after this, we go into the library to go help them install and everything.
Got you. So the Holocaust Museum tomorrow. What time is that event start?
4 to 7, but we're not really promoting that one.
Right.
But you're welcome to come.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna try to make it down there.
Sure.
Yep. And Miss Brown.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to Wisconsin.
Thank you. This is not my first time in Wisconsin.
No?
My first time in Milwaukee,
Oh, what part of Wisconsin you been to before?
Madison,
Okay,
and
yeah.
Minneapolis.
I was just
I'm sorry,
saying-
that's Minnesota. Excuse me.
Okay. I was just
We
in
don't play
Madison
Minnesota.
Thursday. We had National Day of Prayer on the state capitol stairs up there.
Nice.
Yeah, so we were up there in Madison Thursday. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, I used to be an Epic builder,
Really?
so I'm Epic certified, and I had to go there to do this training.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long were you there?
Oh, I had to go multiple times over multiple years. But I went
Wow.
before they had built that big giant campus.
Yeah.
They used to be in a little office building. So I went back. I used to go back then.
Right.
And then after they built the campus.
Okay.
Yeah. Epic is the medical record software.
Right.
At the time, when I stopped building, about 1/3 of the country was on the software.
Wow.
1/3 of the hospitals in the country.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was part of it. Yeah, that was a consideration. But I used to do the requirements gathering.
All right, so all I'm asking y'all to do is make sure when you're talking to the mics, obviously.
Okay.
And then if you want to put the headphones on, what I typically do is just keep one ear in and one ear out so you can hear what's being said in the studio. Yeah. And,
How long you been a DJ?
I don't know. We only been doing we do a morning show twice a week. We've been doing that for what, three years now, 2 years?
About 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years. But we've been, we own this.
Okay.
So we're the owners of it. So we've been doing that. My father-in-law was the founder, and when he transitioned, we took it over. We started in a much smaller spot, and then we had this building sitting here, so we built the studio out here. So,
Nice.
Yeah,
Did this used to be a fish restaurant?
No, this actually used to be a restaurant, though. Yeah. And then we bought it, and my wife has a salon and boutique in the same building on the side here, and we had a dollar store in here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I saw the portholes on the door.
Yeah.
I
It was a
like, that's
restaurant.
adorable.
Yeah. You know how many people that asked to buy them
I can
portholes?
believe
Yeah.
it. I can believe it. Yeah, they're adorable.
Yeah, thank you. So,
So tell me your name again.
Sean Beverly.
So who's going to do the interviews?
Oh, we're all.
Both of you, everyone have a conversation. Okay.
Just have a conversation,
Okay.
make it nice and friendly and comfortable for everybody. Yeah.
What's his name?
His name is.
JBJ?
They call him JBJ. Pastor James.
Yeah.
Buford,
James Buford Jr.
James, that's a black name.
Yeah, you know James Buford. Come on.
That ain't nobody but a black man named James Buford Jr.
James Buford Jr.
You better ask somebody.
You better know.
You better ask somebody. That's a black name. James Buford Jr. And you better have money.
I like you. I like you. You're my favorite. Yeah. Oh, man, that's hilarious.
That's the truth, honey.
So you all be here for the entire campaign or just for a few days?
Till Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
You staying for the
Till
entire?
Wednesday.
Okay. And then back to California.
I thought you stayed till Thursday.
I leave Thursday morning, but back on.
Oh, gotcha. So
Wednesday. I'm going to D.C.
Oh,
I'm going to go
okay.
back to California till No Menthol Sunday. So
Wow. Well, you world traveling.
Oh, she
in Ohio.
Wow.
She all over the
In
place.
L.A. And then
And where you go from here?
Back to
Back to
California.
California. Okay. Got you.
Carol, but when you likely to be, I tease her all the time. I say, I call her. She'd be like, hold on, girl, I'm on a camel. Get down off this camel. I got a meeting
World
with
traveling.
60 people.
I
Carol,
love
you
it.
never know where you're going to
I
find
love it. I love it. Maybe one day I can do the same thing. What we got left on that song?
It's 18 seconds though.
Okay, we'll just go after this.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
And we are back. We're back. You're listening to WGLB 1560 AM 96.1 FM, where gospel lovers belong. We have been joined in the studio by our guest, and I'm extremely excited. One of these individuals I know and have known for some time, Mr. Edgar Mendez, who has been in many different capacities with WGLB. I remember when you was with Marquette. Was it the news?
The neighborhood news.
Neighborhood news service, yeah. And now he's spearheading the No Menthol Sunday campaign here in Milwaukee. And he brought some beautiful and intriguing guests with him this morning. We got a couple guests from the state of California. I have Miss Carol McGruder.
Yes.
And Miss Tracy Brown in the studio with us. Good morning and welcome to the studio.
Good morning. Good morning.
We are off air having a great conversation. The dialogue was great. Miss Magruder has been a world traveler and her entire life.
Yes.
And so we're honored to have you here in the city of Milwaukee. She was talking about how clean Milwaukee. I said, what?
Perspective.
We were just talking about
Everything is relative.
Exactly,
This is
right.
You can eat on the
Right.
sidewalk, and
Right.
there was yesterday. Sister Pat Wilson was taking me around, showing me the hood. I said, "This is the hood."
Right.
Do they have any houses for sale here? Looks pretty good to me. So,
Wow.
so you need to appreciate your
Come
city.
on.
Yes, you need to
Perspective,
appreciate it.
like you said, perspective.
Oh,
And
that's
Miss
so true.
Tracy Brown, how are you? Welcome to the
I
city.
cannot complain. I'm sure enough happy to be here.
Well, Miss Brown told me that she has been to Wisconsin before, so this is not her first time here. But she was up in Madison a few times that she came in the past. So, welcome to Milwaukee.
Well, they didn't have a WGLB in Madison, so
No,
y'all
they
already
don't.
didn't beat them.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't beat the other folks.
Well, we are so honored to have you all in the studio because you all are here for a specific reason. We all know that the tobacco companies have targeted African American and brown community at a significant rate. And you are here to talk about how we can push back on that, right?
Yes, we are. We are here. So I am Carol Magruder, and I'm the co-chair of the African American Tobacco Control Leadership Council. And I'm a parallel to my sister, my love, Lorraine Latham and Jump at the Sun.
Awesome.
So I watch her and follow her and copy her, the things that she's doing here in Wisconsin, because she is very much at the front of this fight as well. But we're a national council, and we were formed in 2008 really to fight back against many of the budget cuts we were experiencing from the California Department of Public Health. They don't like us to say that because now we're the feathers in their caps, but that's how we started. And then subsequently in 2009, President Barack Obama, feels like a million years ago since he was president, but he signed the Tobacco Control Act, giving the FDA the authority to bring the tobacco industry under their purview and to regulate cigarettes and the sale of tobacco products in this country. At that time, all of the flavors except for menthol were taken out of combustible cigarettes. And that was a negotiation that was about poor black people. We are not the only people that smoke mentholated tobacco products, but black people who smoke, 85 to 90% of them smoke a mentholated product, mostly Newports, because those products were dumped in our communities. They were given away to children. There was a setting up, a seeding of addiction, generational, that has lasted for decades.
Sure.
And so we are pushing back against that. And so there's confusion because our menthol smokers feel like something is being taken away from them because we're trying to get this deadly addictive product off the market, when in fact we were left out of the protection. Yesterday I was at Canaan Church, Baptist Church, and they had the young people up. And so those are who we're protecting.
Sure.
I'm not giving up on my brother who's a menthol smoker, and it's hard when you're addicted to these products at a young age. But whatever your situation is, we don't want another generation of our children to become prey to the tobacco industry's machinations in our communities. And so that's what this is about.
Well, I can see a significant difference in the work that you've already done. As a kid, I remember growing up, and there were billboards with Cools, Newports, Pall Mall all over our community, right? And now I ride through our community, and those are few and far between. So we know that the work you've done, you are doing, is significant and making a difference. And I see the amount of targeting that was so intentional in the past. It's a little more subliminal now, right? They got to be more creative in how they do it. They were just obvious with it before. They were pushing this product on our community, and now they got to work a little harder to do that very same work. And so you all are making a difference, and sometimes you just need to hear that.
Thank you.
The work you're doing is not in vain. We really appreciate you all taking this fight up and going as far. I didn't know that was an unregulated product for so long. Did not know that. Of all the things that's detrimental to our community, you would think like they regulate alcohol and all of that they would have regulated cigarettes and menthol products. Right.
Right. And so it's hard to regulate a product that kills half the people that use it. Right. So there's no standard for cigarettes because they kill people, and we know that. And that's what's the conundrum of, you know, the money. And this is where Miss Brown comes in with her wonderful exhibit that she put together, because the history of the industry is so deep, and that's how we got here, was because of slavery coming over to pick tobacco.
Right.
So once you have a product on the market that kills half the people who use it, how do you regulate that? How do you make it something safe that is inherently deadly?
Sure.
And so, you know, so the exhibit really just goes into such graphic detail, and is an eye opener for us who were in the field all this time. The things that she discovered and has wonderfully put together, it's inescapable when you see it. The magnitude that this product has had on our lives as Black people. And we're ready to sever that relationship.
Absolutely. So, Ms. Brown, let's kind of turn to what you did. Obviously, this exhibit that you plan on putting on, you did a mass amount of research to be able to come up with all of this, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely,
So,
absolutely. And so, you know, for those who don't know, which is probably everybody, I'm Tracy Brown, and I'm an artistic activist or artivist. And I'm from San Francisco originally. I live in Oakland, but I studied arts politics at NYU, which is the study of the intersection between art making, the history of social activism, and the enactment of public policy.
Wow.
So it's you know, I came into the working with the AATCLC with a clear understanding that infusing art into the fight would be vital. And yes, there was a massive amount of research, and luckily, you know, the tobacco industry dry snitched on itself. So because people like Carol and all of the activists that worked so hard to advocate on behalf of the people, we were able to procure the tobacco industry's private documents, so in their own memos. And we found out just how hard they worked. I mean, they were A students when it came to research. And they worked hard to research our communities, research our people, even down to asking questions in community like, who do you listen to? Who are you influenced by? Even going so far as to study the effect of nicotine on melanin.
Wow.
On melanated tissue.
Wow.
To figure out what are going to be the best formulations for their products to keep nicotine in our system as long as possible.
Wow.
So they weren't playing. They also did research on children and tried to figure out what flavors children would be most amenable to.
Sure.
So that they could make youth cigarettes and youth nicotine products. And you know, over the last few years, folks were up in arms about youth vaping.
Yeah, yeah.
Those are the same people. It's the same research, and using art to help to tell the story helps people to absorb it much better. So, you know, in any instance, and there has been arguably has been no successful social justice campaign fought and won in this country, at the very least, that did not use art.
Sure. It has a way to really capture our attention, like sometimes literature and statistics won't, right?
Exactly.
To see it in a visual way for a lot of people really sends the message home.
Absolutely.
And so I think what you do is so integral to what Ms. Carol Magruder does to really send the point home, particularly to our children, because everything is mostly visual with them, right? And so I'm just honored that you all are both here and that you all taking this fight on, because so many, the Bible is clear. It says our people perish from a lack of knowledge, right? And what we don't know can hurt us.
Yes.
And now we're aware of these things and how they're targeting us. We have a better chance of fighting off this diabolical enemy that we have, and has been lurking in our community for far too long. It's just a shame that we don't have more governmental resources available to us to fight this battle, and that they're not doing more to really regulate how they really target our community.
Yes, and I want to jump back in here because, and first the art, you know, you touch the heart, then you touch the mind.
Amen.
And the
Amen.
art
I
touches
love that.
our heart.
Yes.
And so, and that's what the art is about. But the lack of the failure of our government to protect us.
Yes, yes.
So when you know, it's no secret, these things that we're talking about, there's there are millions, hundreds of millions of dollars actually spent on research, tobacco research in this country. There's our smokers, and this is what I say, there's no one that loves a black mentholated smoker more than the African American Tobacco Control Legislative Council.
Wow.
That is why we exist. And so there's a dialogue that's really put out by the tobacco industry that taking these deadly products off the market will hurt our communities, because it will engender situations like what happened to Brother Eric Gardner in New York, where he was choked to death for selling loose cigarettes, because we support raising taxes and making cigarettes expensive, but we support taking that money and putting it back into the community, putting it back into resources. And a black smoker has paid for every service that they could need or desire to end their addiction, to stop being a victim of the industry and to be a survivor. And so our people have to fight for a little nicotine patch or for some for the oral medications.
Right.
And if they need a massage, if they need some acupuncture, if they need a therapist to deal with some of the stress in a healthy way, they're entitled to do that because they've already paid for that.
Right.
And we want to educate smokers that you have rights and you need to stand up for yourself and demand them so that you can be here to help your community. We need everybody on board. And so as I've come to the age I'm at, my favorite aunt died at 58 from emphysema, which I'm past that now. And the life that I live, the people who count on me to make it, you talked about your grandbaby, you know, we're keeping kids, we're helping get people get mortgage educations. And even if our lives haven't been a dream, there's a testimony, there's a teaching in that. Absolutely. Even if we've been incarcerated, even if we've had issues with substance abuse, if we're still alive, we're of value to our communities to show people the way and to show people that you can overcome these things. And so we need everybody here healthy. I just had a hip replacement surgery. I'm back out on the road, and because I'm healthy. But if I was a smoker now in California, you can't have elective surgery if you're actively smoking.
Wow.
Because smoking interferes with your ability to heal. And smoking hurts every single bad thing that we already have, whether it's diabetes, high blood pressure, the other cancers that are not related to tobacco, which 30% of them are. You know, most of our amputations for diabetics are smokers. Wow. And so smoking touches every aspect of our lives, asthma, premature infants, and we need it out. We need it out. And so, and there's no smoking with the enemy, sleeping with the enemy anymore. So our folks who are taking money from the industry, and people like our Reverend Al Sharpton and Nan, they take money from Newport Cigarettes, Reynolds American, Dr. Ben Chavis, who heads our National Newspaper Publishers Association. Reynolds at Newport is a sponsor listed on the website for our black papers. Wow. And so our people need to stand up and say, this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. Yes, yeah. We wouldn't take money from the Klan.
That's right.
We wouldn't take money from these police unions that block legislation to hold people accountable. And we shouldn't take money or fraternize in any way with the number one killer, the number one targeter of black men in this country. Right. And that's the tobacco industry.
Wow.
Right.
I agree 100%. I want to hear more about this artistic, because I'm a musician, so and I thrive in the music and the arts. I love the arts. So tell me more about your display with the art, how you display the message through art.
Sure. Well, you know, I want to say that I'm glad that you invoked the Bible in this conversation, because one of the main things that the Bible says is, "Thou shalt not lie."
That's right.
Right. And the tobacco industry has lied to us for years. And even so many of these folks in the community who are supposed to be our community leaders, as Carol mentioned, lie to us every time. They repeat and recycle the narratives that are created by the tobacco industry, like menthol cigarettes are the black cigarette. We don't have a black cigarette. Or that, you know, taking away menthol cigarettes or regulating menthol cigarettes is going to, or menthol tobacco products is going to criminalize the black community. They don't need no reason to bother us.
That's right.
We ain't got to be doing that. We could just be standing there blinking. and here they come.
Yeah,
So
right.
they don't need an excuse. And the way that this connects with the exhibit is the fact that this is illustrated.
Mm-hmm.
So it talks about tobacco as a sacred plant, which is what it started out as. It's a plant that was cultivated by Native American people and used as a sacrament, and they still do to this day. And that it also talks about the fact that sacred tobacco and commercial tobacco are different. That people who were enjoying, they took the sacred plant and spliced it and genetically modified it to increase the nicotine levels, and they started doing that back in Columbus's day.
Wow.
So, and then when the desire for tobacco increased, that is when the slave trade started. So we have to pay attention to the connection between chattel slavery in America and the success of the tobacco industry,
Sure.
and also pay attention to the responsibility that they hold for repairing those wrongs. The exhibit also talks about and shows how in the 1940s the black community was viewed as a new market segment. So people woke up to the realization that, oh, black people have money and they like high quality products.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're very mindful about what they buy. And at that time, concurrently, Jet and Ebony magazines were started through the Johnson Publishing Agency. You know how we were with the magazines.
Right.
You know, we used to buy them and we used to share them. And, you know, you read a magazine at somebody's house and then you see it later at your auntie's house.
Right.
You know, but it was an integral part of our lives.
It really was.
We looked at it all the time to look at the Black Beauty Queens.
Right.
The
Jet Beauty of the Week.
The newest, even Jet Beauty of the Week. Look for the latest wigs and styles and whatever
Afro
else.
scene.
And and the music, you know, it was on the top 40 Billboard chart.
Absolutely.
But what we were also doing was ingesting visually the images that the tobacco industry produced, and they were slick now.
Yeah, because Cool was always in there.
Images. They were, and
Virginia
they were also
Slim was always in there.
Events.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So they were putting in ads, sponsoring events, handing out cigarettes for free in the black community, the black students. We know that's how Dave Chappelle started smoking. He got some free cigarettes.
Wow.
Right? But and we know his relationship with nicotine. So so this exhibit really helps to make information that might otherwise be inaccessible.
Sure.
Something that people can really absorb and internalize, with the goal of helping them A, heal their lives, B, helping black smokers understand that it's not weakness that makes it hard for them to stop smoking, but in actuality it was a plan. It is brain chemistry, but also that there are other options for them.
Sure.
And it really ties the whole story together.
Right. You know, when you mentioned how they sponsor a lot of our events, I remember various award shows they would sponsor, and we had a really big one here in Milwaukee. It was called the Cool Jazz Festival.
Oh yeah,
at the County Stadium.
Yeah, that
was a big event.
They did it all over the country.
And that was sponsored by Cool. You know, and I never put the two together. You hear it, you just think that hey, they just making a little donation, but they were sponsoring it so they could promote their product.
And
right?
I remember, I saw Marvin Gaye at the Oakland Coliseum in California.
He was here,
and I was so like, this is just wonderful.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
This is just wonderful.
Yeah,
They're Cool is sponsoring
right.
Marvin Gaye. We're having a Cool Jazz Festival and you just have no idea of the pernicious targeting, as Tracy said, how they studied us and how they got into our media, and that this is a thing with black media. Our newspapers were created to free us from slavery.
Sure.
Yes.
Freedom's Journal was the first black paper, and that a black paper would pass hands 40 times back in the day when people didn't have money, so that the information that came through our media, it was trusted. It was like you're being preached to. So whatever we saw in our papers that we controlled, that were supported by the tobacco industry, we considered it a fact.
Yeah.
So not only those advertisements, but the omission of factual information. And I'm just going to put this out here. We had, when we recently had our second lawsuit against the FDA, because we sued them one time in 2020, and they had promised that they were going to put this two rules out to take mentholated tobacco products off the market and the little cigars and cigarillos which were left wholly out when the Tobacco Control
Wow.
Act was founded.
Wow.
So we allowed our lawsuit to be dismissed, and that lawsuit, the co-plaintiffs were us, ASH, Action on Smoking Our Health, the AMA, the American Medical Association, and the NMA, the National Medical Association. So when a product is so bad that the nation's doctors sue their own government
Wow.
to take it off, then that you don't need to say anything else.
Right.
So when the rule didn't happen, because now we're in the presidential election,
Sure.
and now Joe Biden, they're afraid because Al Sharpton and folks like that have been to the White House and said menthol-laden black smokers are not going to vote if you take it off. And so all those menthol-laden black smokers, they have family members who love them, who are voting,
Wow.
and who do want this
Right,
to happen.
right.
But my point is that we had press. That was April 2nd of last month. We had all kind of press, and so we sent the wire out to the National Newspaper Publishers Association, which has a wire for all the black papers. They refused to run it. They refused to send a wire
Wow.
of a factual news story, one of the most important news stories for African Americans in this country.
Jeez.
And they refused to run it. And so that could have been the decision of one person. You know, we have to slow down to talk to the board, NNPA board, like, this is about news, but that has been happening for decades.
Yeah.
I remember an article in Ebony years ago with the 10 causes of death. They didn't even mention tobacco. That was like a sideline. And so we want our people to have factual information. Our people deserve to hear the factual information from our own people. Our own people need to be ringing the bell about this, and at least not blocking the information.
Sure.
Whether you agree with the fact or not, a fact is a fact.
The fact is,
And we also, with the exhibit, the title of it is Same Game, Different Smokers. They're employing the same tactics that they used to, but now they're doing it with vaping.
Sure.
And now they're doing it with other
the cigarellos,
right, and
yeah,
other
those
flavored
blunts,
products,
yeah.
and even blunt wrappers.
Right,
Come
the
on now,
blunt wrappers,
backwoods,
yep.
because you see these kids with these backwoods wrappers in their pocket. You would talk to them, and they're like, "Oh, I never smoked cigarettes," and I'm like, "I hate to break it
That's
to you,
worse,
boo.
bro.
The same people who made your blunt wrappers are the same people who make those cigarettes, and they're putting the same additives in them and the same flavors, and they're using that to make you addicted.
Yes.
So don't sleep. But we also are helping people to understand that this is an international fight, because they are using the same tactics that they perfected on us all over the country.
Wow.
The free cigarettes, the sponsoring events, they're doing that in Africa now.
Jeez.
Wow.
So trust and believe, this fight is a long one.
You mentioned something, and I think that this is a fight that we all got to take on. And that's one of the reasons I'm so proud of this radio station, because we won't promote alcohol products. We won't promote cigarettes or any kind of tobacco products, period. And we've had them beating on the door asking us if we'll consider it, but we won't, because we're Gospel Station 1. And 2, we just believe that those things don't benefit our community,
No,
right?
and can you imagine the Redemption Hour sponsored by Schlissmore?
Right, exactly, right.
What?
So we just took the stand, and we won't relent from that, because we believe in improving our community, not being a detriment to our community. It saddens me to know that people like Al Sharpton, who people really look up to in our community, is selling us out, taking finances from these type of businesses and corporations, right? But again, this is a fight that we all can play a role in, and I'm asking, how, if someone, Ms. Magruder, is interested in taking on this fight with you all, because we need more frontliners, how can they get in
We
contact
certainly
with you?
do. And so I want to say, our website for the AATCLC is savingblacklives.org. So if you go on there, you can sign up, and you will get our e-blast and constant information of everything that's going on nationally. But I want to encourage people here to just tap into Jump at the Sun.
Absolutely.
Because this is, they're leading the cause along with us, and you get information that pertains particularly to here and to Wisconsin. So those are the ways that you can get involved. And then I also want to say to the listeners that we have to support our own black media. And so I want to give a plug that, we have to pay ourselves to have our programs who want to stand and take the moral high ground.
Sure.
So like programs like this, Roland Martin has been a big supporter.
That's
and
good.
so he has the Black Star Media now,
Sure.
and you can subscribe. So there are all kinds of ways where we can take our little $10 a month And I would encourage the smokers, when you stop smoking, just put that money aside and see how that money grows, and invest it in something for our people. Invest it in, because all the money that we spend with the tobacco industry, we could send our children to college. We could buy homes instead of buying death and destruction for our community. So to think about it in that way, that you want to make an investment in life, and to help to get the message out, and to have independent media, which as we more and more is more important than ever, but than when we were slaves, is more important today, because so much is going on, and we need our own people to help us to digest that and to get the information out to people.
The proof to that is I wish you all had gotten here a little earlier. We've been doing, since my father-in-law's transition to be with the Lord, we've been doing in his honor a scholarship fund. And how we raise the resources is called our Milwaukee Black Wall Street Marketplace. So we bring all of these different vendors and their products, and they set up the displays and they sell the products. All the proceeds go towards the scholarship fund, so that we can send our kids that want to go to secondary education opportunities. We give them a little aid in doing so, right? We got people working for Google now, young children that graduated from college working for Google, doctors and lawyers and all of these different areas, because we saw the importance of investing in these young people and giving them a leg up, right, if you will. And so I think what you said is so critical. We all can play a role, and it doesn't take a whole lot. Some of those products were $5, $10, but when we put it all together, we're able to give these young people sizable amounts of money to go on to secondary education opportunities. So again, when we come together, it's nothing impossible for us, but we got to see the importance of coming together. Edgar.
So there's going to be some great opportunities here in Milwaukee to get involved. As Carol said, you can reach out to us. We're the Wisconsin African American Tobacco Prevention Network. You can find us on Facebook. You can go see the exhibit, Same Game, Different Smokers. It's free. It's open to the public. It's going to be at Washington Park Branch Library on Sherman. It's open and free during any of the library's opening hours or regular hours. You can also come and meet us on Wednesday from 1 to 3 at Washington Park. We're going to do an opening celebration, and you can come and meet Carol. You can come and ask her your questions and come and meet the team. So we hope to see the public get out there. And finally, you can also get involved with No Menthol Sunday. That's on